do not get along, and we never have gotten along. I have two kids, Brianna and Brandon. Brianna's 25, Brandon's 21. And throughout our life, since my mother didn't like me, she didn't like my children.
I can send it to you.
So we
have an email?
we had it rough. My mother's wealthy, she has homes, and she gave my brothers and sisters homes, but I never got a home. But that never kept me from, moving on with my kids. So as time went on, my mother never been in me or my kids' lives until they started achieving. She thought that they were going to be nothing because she thought I was nothing. It made us stronger. It made us bond together, to be a lot closer. And I truly love my son, and they truly love my kids love me. Okay, so here we go into the real life mess that I'm in. But I'm really not in because I know I got God. As time went on, my son, well, I'll start with the daughter because she's the oldest. At the age of 14, in high school, middle school, she got a chance to go to college, middle college. She was very bright. Then all of a sudden my mother wants to, reap the benefits, I guess, if you want to call those benefits. Then my son, who at the age of 15 in high school, he received a scholarship to play basketball for UCI. A full ride. Now my mother wants to become a part of the family. So what she's doing, what she's done to me is, she told my son, don't sign the housing papers, so in turn I lose housing. She put a restraining order on me telling me that I don't love my kids and how I hate them and how she's had them, which was a lie. I remember coming to this court over here and I couldn't believe it. I walk into the court, but before I even get into court, I see my mother, and it's like I really couldn't look at her because this was just bull crap. And she's with my brother, which is her favorite kid. So my brother writes on the restraining order, like I said, Niecy hates her kids, she does all types of drugs, from heroin to whatever type of drug I could get, which is all lies. So when we get in the court, my mother's again starts, the last thing my mother said to the judge was, and judge, she left threatening messages on my phone now. On my machine, on my phone. And the judge says, well, what did she say? And then my mother says, well, I can't remember. So the judge threw it out. But I wasn't going to go to court. I just was going to let it lie because the Bible tells you to honor and love your mother, so whatever they do or whatever they say, you just go with it. But for some reason, I couldn't let that go. When I walked into court, I could not believe that she called another member of my family, my younger brother. And I just sunk. It's like, how many kids could be just abusing your mother? So mine was thrown out. And the restraining order was for 5 years. And my mother's 80, so they're for 5 years and 100 feet away. So that meant when my son plays basketball, I can't go watch his games because she's there. And if she wanted to just, at that point, flip on me and say, take her away, she could have done that. So last year, I didn't get a chance to watch my son play basketball because of that. And I can imagine how my kids are feeling, like, here's your mother and here's your grandma at odds with one another. So I stayed away because I didn't want my kids to be hurt anymore. So after that, and there's much more, after that, but before that, my dad passes away, my real dad that I hadn't seen in quite a while. And we were living in one of her homes, me and my brothers and sisters. So when she gave them both homes, she said, well, Niecy, you're going to go live with your brother Timmy. Well, brother Timmy used to kick my ass, constantly, and she didn't care what he did. So I just sunk. But towards the end, she says, you know what, Niecy? No, you're not going to go live with your brother. You're just going to be homeless. So there goes me and my kids back out on the streets. So it's been a ride, my ups and downs, but the one thing I can truly say is, no matter about that ride that I've taken, I knew God was going to keep me. So when I look at you, all of you guys out here, I met a lot of good people along the way, a lot of good people. How do I say it? Just never give up, no matter what goes on in life, because we're all better than, nobody's better than nobody here, you know what I mean? And if you truly want to make it, you can make it. But But with me, all the blows that I had taken, like losing my housing, my dad dying, my mom taking my dad's inheritance money, the restraining order, I mean, all these came at one time. So I just said, I just gave up. I had a car, I had, which is all materialistic things, you know, but all these things I had achieved. And when all these blows came me, at that point, I just didn't care. I just gave up. I wasn't suicidal. I wasn't going to kill myself or anything like that. That was not going to happen, because I had told myself way in the beginning, when she put us out the first time, that I would never give up. I'm just going in circles here. And I remember the first time when she put me and my daughter out, my son wasn't born then, I was seeking. You know, I knew about God because my grandma always took me to church. And the one thing I truly knew about God is love. That's just it. He's love. If you call on him, he might not come when you want him to come, but he's going to be there. So I remember I was seeking a higher being, because I was just a mess. I was at the lowest I could be with my child. And I think the scripture is John 5, where if you seek, knock, and the door should be open. Well, I was truly seeking, and I called upon my grandma who had passed away. And I was just saying, Grandma, please, can you help me? And then I thought, why am I calling my grandma? You know, I need to ask Jesus to come into my life. So that was the seek part of it. Then I found myself across the street, this is 25 years ago, from the Orange County Rescue Mission. Now I'm walking up to the door and I'm knocking. So there's the seek, the knock. Then the door was open. And then I asked the pastor to open up the door. And he looked at me like, what's going on? And I said, is there anything I can do to help you? And he paused for a moment and he said, come on in. Well, after that time, 15 years later, where everybody family members just didn't give a hoot about me, for 15 years I got a chance to bring my kids, that is babies, to serve and give back to people who were homeless. So I've seen this side of it, you know, but I've never been in it, but I've seen the side. And one thing that I'm thankful for is with my kids is that they hung in with me and I hung in with them. And if you were to see them, they're just the beautifulest kids, humble, respectable. I can't believe I didn't have kids like this, but they're mine. And the other day they came up here. My daughter, who has stage 4 cancer, that's the thing that just really, all the things that had happened to me, but when my daughter at the age of 22 got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and stage 4, that's the last stage, that's where I lost it. I just didn't care anymore. And to watch your kid, and on top of all that, when my daughter got sick, my mother is still putting me through hell. But I remember with my daughter, I don't know if anybody has been through this, but when she got diagnosed with this cancer, she was working at the DMV, so she had good insurance. So when she got diagnosed, she had to have her molars taken out of her mouth. She had to be poked, and I'm watching this, and this is my own kid. One of the side effects of the chemo is you go in and your heart can stop. Well, at the age of 22, when my daughter got that first injection, her heart stops. And then after that, just to see her go from a beautiful kid to where they start giving you these radiation treatments, they're taking all your cells. So now she's like from 140 pounds, if that, to like maybe 98 pounds. But through all in all, everybody that I would walk up to, I would tell them, please pray for my daughter. I didn't think she was going to make it. And when I would question her about these things, she would say to me, Mom, she goes, please don't ask me anymore. She says, I'll tell you if something goes bad or if something's wrong. But through all of that, after her last radiation treatment, she says, "Mom, I made it." So then after that, I said to her, "Brianna, cancer just doesn't go away, it goes in remission." And I wish I wouldn't have said that. I wish I would have just left it the way she had said it. But with my daughter, who truly believes in God, she says, "No, Mom, it's gone." So when she had her checkup to come back, I forgot to tell you guys where where her cancer was. It's called nasopharyngeal cancer. And what it is, it's your nasal, and then it's behind the back of your head. So that's where her cancer was. So when she did the treatment, she had said that it's gone. So when they waited and they came back with tests, now the cancer moved into her lungs. So I'm looking and researching and trying to find things out because she's not telling me much of anything. And then after that, I don't like to ask her because that's what she wished. So she'll just come up to me and she said to me the other day, maybe about a month ago, she goes, "Mom, my doctor told me," because now it's in the clinical trials. I mean, when you go to stage 4, it's just now they're just testing other people to see how a drug would work on somebody, and the drug that they're giving her, that's kind of what this is. So she went from stopping having the injections, now she takes pills every day to stop the cancer. And she tells me, "Mom, this is the only thing that's maintaining me and keeping me alive." But her outlook on life, you guys, is just it's just amazing. So I stopped talking to my mother because of the fact that every time I would go to my mother, it would always be something to hurt me. But she said to me, my daughter, she says, and she's crying, she says to me, "Mom, I'm only 22 years old, and you guys think you've been through hell." She says, "I've been through hell." She goes, I want you to call up Grandma, and I want you to tell," this is my daughter talking to me like I'm the kid. She says, "I want you to tell Grandma, you guys don't have to talk about the past or whatever happened, but I want you to call up your grandma, and I want you to tell her you love her," which I truly love my mother, but I just don't want to, I'm done talking to her for the things that she's done to me. So when I called her up, she starts crying. And I told her, that I loved her. And she says to me, "Well, why don't you come over and visit?" There's no way in hell at this point in time in my life that I would go visit her. I call it the rope-a-dope. I call it just keep going back and she's going to do something to hurt you. But I guess what I want to tell all of you guys is, God is real. Some of you guys might think it's a joke, but He's really real. He's real. He's truly real. You got to trust and believe. If you want something, if you want to get out of the can't even think of this place. If you want to get out of the flags, I mean, just ask God to come into your heart. Tell Him specifically what you want, and He'll do it. But it's not in your time, it's in His time, and you just have to hold on. And I guess that's all I want to say to you guys, and I truly love you guys, and I'll be leaving here Friday. My son plays ball. He has an apartment out there, and when he walked up here, he couldn't believe I was in this, and he says, "Mom," he starts crying, he says, "Mom, we got to get you out of here." And he says, it's so sad. He says, "What do you want? What do you want?" And they pay him to play ball. He hands me his credit card. I mean, that's how serious he wants me out of here. But the thing is that's my son's ride. That's not my ride. He did this. He played ball all of his life to reach the point to where he's at. But that's all I want to say to you guys. But just trust in God. Even if you guys have kids, get them into church. Show them how good God is, you know what I mean? So they can bless their kids on and on down the line. I'm done.